and all of the support staff is over there. So this is a compLexity.Black that has better players on paper, but they don't have kind of the cohesion that they would like. They don't have time with their jungler. Their shot calling is all over the place. Probably is taking that over now, and they don't have a coaching squad.
Yeah, it definitely is spelling kind of potential rough times. However, still considered the favorite over Final 5. This is a team that has had quite a lot of practice. They've worked together. They're confident that they can pull out a win, but they did have a pretty rough time against Zenith.
Yeah, they ended up losing that first game and then taking basically the last half of the second game in a great comeback, and then just dominating the third game. And the biggest problem for Final 5 is they have nerves that they have to get over, but they have to get over them very, very quickly in a set. You'll get those jitters, and if they're getting them even offline, if they make it to online, if they make it to the offline portion, that's going to be even higher. So that's something that this young team needs to get over very quickly.
Not to mention compLexity.Black, again, seasoned team for the most part, they can exploit those types of weaknesses. We talked a little bit on the prior to the broadcast about how Shorter Ace might be somebody they want to really keep an eye on.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, is Prawley is probably going to get a lot of attention from Cloud1. Prawley is kind of the rock of this team. He's the shot caller. If you get your shot caller ahead, you get your mid laner ahead against Gate, that's going to put more pressure on Shorter Ace because Prawley loves to invade jungles and just apply pressure there. So I think the game is really going to revolve around that mid lane for a large portion of it.
Yeah, not to mention taking away some picks too. I mean, Rule 18 hasn't played anything but Janna, and taking off the board immediately is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, we saw him play. He had a highlight reel of getting caught out a bit. Rule 18 only played that Janna 3 games in a row. His KDA not the best, but at the same time, what else does he have up his sleeve? Because they didn't have to show a whole lot, and they didn't take a whole bunch of jungle bans off the table either.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to see how a lot of things are shifting with the picks as well. And again, these games still being played on 4.19. We have a lot of, I would say, more developed strategy than we would moving forward. I think that it's going to be a really, really interesting matchup in the pick ban department right now with, again, not too many jungle picks taken away. Lee Sin, immediately locked in.
And here's the thing, too, is there's a lot of picks here that are coming out that Final 5 didn't get to have against Zenith. Prototype White, he has 1,433 Vayne games in ranked this season. That's incredible. His next most played is only at 500, and that's Jinx. We saw him constantly pushed onto Jinx and then eventually pushed onto Twitch against Zenith. They always banned his Vayne every game. And also, Shorter Ace never got his hands on Lee Sin. He got his hands on Rengar one time and played a Nocturne, but now he's going to get his most played champion. And he's kind of like almost a one-trick pony in that regard, but he does have the Rengar very recently. So Shorter Ace is on his main champion. Prototype White is on his main champion. And compLexity.Black have kind of handed these things over to them.
Well, they preferred to take away the Janna, and it was kind of a curious thing, especially because they, as you mentioned, didn't have as much experience practicing with Cloud1. They put him onto Kha'Zix this game. I think that's a fairly strong pick, but again, they've given up a lot. This is troubling, and as we mentioned, there isn't a really dedicated coaching staff right now for this team.
Yeah, but I think Prawley is a good enough analyst that he'd be able to pick apart the team. The question is, does he have enough time to do that for this type of team? He has to keep his play up. He has to practice his shot calling. They haven't had a whole lot of time to do that, and they have to sync on what their strategy is coming into Champions League. So you have to kind of put it in compLexity's court and say, maybe they did that, maybe they didn't, but that's all speculation. You can't really talk too much into that. But at the same time, they did pick a pretty aggressive bot lane here, and they did see that the Vayne came through. So they're going to pick a very oppressive Corki against that champion that can keep it down early, paired with a Janna, which is going to force the Nami pick here to try and kind of out-sustain that and keep the Vayne safe.
I think it's a pretty solid pick as well, but again, you see a lot of weapons on Final 5. You saw that they had an incredible turnaround when they did play off against Zenith. There were some trouble spots, but once they woke up, they really started making noise, and that's something compLexity has to watch out for here, especially because they've allowed them to get all these strong picks.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong picks here for Final 5. They're definitely in a very comfortable place in this champion select so far. Rux is going to have that Rumble. This is a very kind of early game, mid-game composition that wants to fight you, but at the same time, they do have some late-game scaling here, and with the assistance of Shorter Ace on that Lee Sin, he's going to be able to affect the lanes very early on.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be really on him to make those plays. However, they have a lot of late-game scaling potential. Vayne, item-dependent champion, you get up to that level, and you start to be able to 1v1 just about anybody, and he's going to need it, too. There are quite a lot of assassins on this side of compLexity.Black.
Yeah, there's a lot of gap closers here from what I'm noticing. They do have the cast in for the top lane for iCenniU, and they have Prawley on that Ahri. And here's the thing with iKenny is he's always been kind of the playmaking top laner. He's usually the shot caller on every team he's on. He's also a member of the reigning North American Collegiate Championship team, University of Washington, and he's got multiple challenger accounts. He knows this lane through and through, but he likes to fight you. He likes to bully you. So he's picking this Kassadin knowingly into this Rumble, thinking that he's able to negate enough of the magic damage with the shield that he'll be able to just get into that mid game, get into that late game, and get those items that he needs to be very effective in these team fights. So there's no real dedicated tank here for compLexity.Black. They're kind of a pick you off team composition, but at the same time, they do have disengage to go alongside that.
They also have a lot of split push options as well. Putting somebody like Kenny on a Kassadin pick definitely opens up a lot of strategical avenues for them, and you can already see Final 5 trying to respond to this. They're not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, I would doubt we'd see the Ahri in the top as well, the Kassadin much more likely, but they were thinking about it for just a second. Swapping it over, Gate's going to be, of course, taking the Zed pick, so I think it's a pretty solid choice for them all around.
Yeah, it's very hard to disengage a Zed. A very good Zed player, even if you use the Janna ultimate, he'll still have a way to get back in with multiple shadows, and if he's fast enough to place one down after putting the ultimate. So I think this is a really good pickup here for Gate in the mid lane. If he knows how to play that champion, knows it through and through. We saw him mostly on mages previously, but I think he does have that one up his sleeve. I think Final 5 are coming into this champion select. They're very comfortable with what they got, but compLexity at the same time seem a little bit all over the place, and they have to kind of get these picks. But then Final 5, they kind of had to just group up as a team, which is something we didn't see them doing a lot of. That was what they struggled with against Zenith. Remember, they kept having team compositions where like they just have to group, and they would win in that game 1, and they never did it.
Yeah, we'll see if they can pull it off. Of course, probably with the shot calling this time. We'll see what they have in the tank there. But of course, getting ready to start game number 1. We want to know what you guys think, however. Go ahead and tweet us at LOL Esports using the hashtag LCS Expansion to let us know your predictions and, of course, later on, what you think were the biggest plays of the match.
Yeah, and don't stop tweeting at us. We will continue reading yours into the next game and throughout the day. And then tomorrow, too, we have a ton of exciting matches.
Oh, yes, we do. I mean, this is just the first one. I cannot wait to see how these shake out. This is going to be guaranteed explosive stuff around the board. And once you get into the round of 8, this is the real deal.
Yeah, and speaking about the real deal here, compLexity.Black, are they the real deal or not? Because everybody's saying this is 3 of the 5 members of compLexity without Westrice, without Kez. Kez was a big part of the shot calling for compLexity.Black. And whenever I talked to Prawley, he was saying that Kez is the very level-headed person that they needed to make those 80-game dreams happen for them. Because every time Prawley wanted to face-check something, Kez would say, no, don't do it. You don't have to do it. There's no reason to do that. Prawley is a very instinctual shot caller who in the moment will make calls, and Kenny is too, but Kenny is more so where it shows a lot of his weaknesses. So Kenny is now in a role where he inputs information, and Prawley's kind of adjusting himself to be more of this intellectual shot caller, which he's definitely capable of, but can they step up? Are they the real deals? compLexity.Black able to get through this round and to the next one? Because I talked to them, and once they make it to the next round, they do have a coaching situation ready for them, but they just haven't had the time lately to get into the spot that they want.
Yeah, and it's kind of contingent on them actually making it forward. So it's kind of like even the staff is saying, show me what you can do going forward. And we're going to have some early action here. Rule 18, he had some problems getting caught last time, but he might just get away from this one. Robert does not have enough damage to deal him down just yet. Only a minute into the game, and can't be getting caught.
Yeah, they don't have any real pick potential just yet. We did see the Q leveled up on Ahri there, so he didn't have the Charm, the Orb of Deception, just force some damage and some poke off there. But they're not going to get much for that, except it will discourage deeper wards.
Yeah, kind of saying get out of there. We're not going to let you get anywhere near our own jungle. And yeah, you can see compLexity.Black taking all the move, or making all the moves they can rather to stop any potential invades and saying, Final 5, you can't really get in our face.
It's basically just getting wards along that line, nobody getting too much knowledge of the other. It's just that ward. They're going to see when Shorter A starts here, they're going to be able to see that route, and he is going to show himself as a well-timed ward. He'll time out well after 155.
Yeah, so they do have definite knowledge of that jungle path for the time being, of course. You mentioned Kenny up in the top lane. He's going to have a little bit of a rough early time up against Rux. I think this was probably a big matchup to really talk about because he is in that give me information mode. I will do what I can for the team, but he's going to be on his own for a little while.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty decent matchup in the top lane. Kassadin's not going to have too hard of a time. He did end up getting himself the Crystalline Flask and then the door and shield on the other side, whereas Rux is going to be taking a lot of harassment in terms of just auto attacks, which is what it negates. It just has that extra regen.
Yeah, big question mark here is how, not just how well Cloud1 fits into the team, but how he's going to really do in this early stage, because Kha'Zix is kind of a non-telegraph.
It's just harassment back and forth down in this bot lane. I think the biggest matchup right now is just that mid lane with Prawley and Gate. He's already putting on a little bit of pressure there, but now that the junglers have finally completed their routes around that 3-minute mark, Shorter Ace on that Lee Sin, on his main champion, what is he going to be able to do to affect these side lanes? And what is cloudWin going to do to step up and at least match him in his aggression? Because Shorter Ace is a very aggressive player, unless he has his nerves going for him.
They will get the knock-up on a Rule 18, and he's doing a pretty good job of just trying to tank and sustain the shots. Robert's actually the one that's gotten the worst of this, and this is a tried and tested bot lane, LCS experience all around, and you have to be able to bully out of Vayne.
And Rumble, he's not just winning that lane straight out in that top lane. Kenny and him are just going back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to where the junglers make moves first. You touched on it. Shorter Ace is on a champion he can have an early impact on. Now he's got the double buffs, eyeballing the mid lane, and he's not spotted out of here. And he's looking to make a move onto Prawley, but it's difficult to gank Inari even before she gets level 6 up.
He is spotted out, and cloudWin is there to answer.
Yeah, he will get the Sonic Wave Connect on it. Wow, they want to fight it, starting up. cloudWin says, I don't know if I want this. I'm going to disengage Kate. And Prawley, oh, he gets it. The charm is on. He's going to jump for it. First blood, and it goes over to cloudWin. That was quick. Prawley's still burning, and he's going to go down with the answer kill. 1-for-1 jungle for mid lane, but they're not done yet. A pair of flashes burn, and cloudWin's still on the chase, but I think Gate is going to be able to ninja his way out of this one.
Yeah, he's going to actually get a little bit of the better of that trade. There is a reset onto cloudWin in terms of double buffs, but the fact that the mid laner gets to stay there, gets to continue to CS, now he's going to be able to catch up a little bit to Prawley. And Prawley, look at that, right out of the gate, he's going to start rushing some armor and possibly the Seeker's Arm Guard just to deal with Gate and also to make sure that when he hits those level 6 and level 11 power spikes for himself, he's not able to burst him down.
Yeah, of course, and the Biscuit Master is going to help him out quite a lot here to try and sustain this lane up, but you start getting behind against the Zed, and you're going to have a real rough time in lane. I don't care who you are.
And I talked about how this mid lane is going to be one of those matchups where there's going to be a lot of jungle attention here. I thought cloudWin was going to just be there for Prawley, but it turns out Shorter Ace, despite being spotted out, kind of calls cloudWin on his play there, and lands a Q, follows it in. Prawley is there for the backup and the collapse, but Gate is right on top of it. Gate doesn't even care that he's going to lose some minions doing so. He goes for it, and he gets the payoff of getting that kill for himself and the early Bilgewater Cutlass.
Oh, yeah. Definitely going to help him out a lot in the early game. Now, Prawley wants to make sure he's not going to be in trouble anytime soon. Going to get a little bit of vision out there. Meanwhile, Kenny's still doing his best to deal with Rux, but Flame on, he's having a little bit of trouble there.
And he's going to have to back up, possibly TP back in, or charges the Crystalline Flask, and possibly the Catalyst. You don't want to back until you have that Catalyst, so he might have just been sitting in that lane struggling a little bit so that he can hit that point. And no, he doesn't. So that is actually really good for Rux, the fact that Kenny is not going to have that. And he might not even use his TP to get back there. He's probably just going to say, it's okay to lose some minions to this turret. That's fine. I'll be able to just get back there, not lose TP advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a pretty rough lane for him if he has to keep going back and giving up the teleport, but it was a smart move to walk. I mean, early Dragon is going to be important if they do want to go for it. You can see Shorter and cloudWin both hanging around there, trying to gain a little bit more vision. A couple of pink wards in their key places, and here we go. Level 6 Death Mark onto Prawley. Half his health already gone in the blink of an eye. Can he get it?
Oh my god!
It's going to go, and that's going to be Gate all the way back with the Shadow. cloudWin just wondering what happened, and actually it's round number 2. He's still level 5. He's going to not be able to connect with the Sonic Wave, however, and wow, Gate is just turning on the throttle.
Brilliant play there. Despite having some extra armor from that cloth armor, Prawley still gets blown up by Gate, even though he doesn't have Ignite. Gate hits that level 6 early, immediately takes advantage of it.
Yeah, they're not done either. Robert took a whole lot of damage before Valkyrying away from that one. Has to chug the potions fast as he can. Final 5 is not making this early game easy for Complexity.
Oh, and Shorter Ace, he's looking at that bottom lane already. If he sees Robert,
yeah, he's going to go for it.
Oh, he hits it.
Can he do it?
Oh.
Ah, he doesn't want it. Nope, shield's on. Nobody syndrome today.
No. Oh, man, I would have taken that Q.
You would not be alone.
No, I'd be dead, too, because Bubba Dub put a shield on him immediately after, and Robert still had flash and heal. But I would have taken that Q. That's why I'm not playing.
Yep, well, Shorter Ace has a cool head for this one, and yeah, the definite could have turned around a bit there, and it might have even opened up something as big as a dragon for Complexity, but as it is, they still have this slight lead in their favor. They're really playing this early game out smart.
And I love that, too, the fact that you said he's very level-headed right now, and that's not the typical Shorter Ace. Shorter Ace is an extremely aggressive player who has nerves problems. Like, I've just been talking to Ms. Peach, and she's been saying, you know, this team is very nervous before they get into games, and before these games, especially the very important ones, and they don't get more important than this at this point.
No, I mean, once you are a game up here, it gives you so much more confidence, and Final 5 want to come out swinging. Kenny's having some more trouble dealing with Rux, and now that they've hit those level 6 power spikes respectively, they're going to keep going on this one. So 4 people at the blue should be pretty easy taken. They might be setting up for a dragon here. Cloudwind's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, he's going to go over to his blue because of his jungle route start. But at the same time, that top lane, when you talked about it with teleport, both guys decided not to use their teleport to get back into lane. Rux pushed it out, and then he ended up walking all the way. So he didn't lose any CS, but he didn't get a Haunting Guys either. But look at this. The dragon
Gate's
set up
in trouble, though. He's going to go almost down. One shot will do it. It's probably going to take him down. The death mark was burned already. They're just distracting for the dragon. Managed to pick it off. But here's Bubba Rule 18. He might be down. Bubble's going to connect. But here's Robert. Does he have enough damage in the tank? Yes, he does. They're going to actually turn around and sack to try and get him off a prototype who will run away. But at the end of it, 2 kills for a dragon.
It's still going to be Final 5 a little bit in the lead right now. But the question is what does compLexity.Black get off of that? Rux is pushing this top lane, and ICanYou used his teleport to get into that fight and didn't contribute anything. He didn't even get an assist off of it.
Yeah, and now Rux is just going to be able to proxy farm a little bit too. He's actually going to throw down the equalizer just to do that a little bit more. And again, as you mentioned, Kenny not having the teleport has to walk the slow road. He might have an easier way to get back next time, but yeah. Definitely timely played by Final 5.
It's actually a pretty good use of the ultimate there to just clear that wave ASAP so that you get some turret damage. The minions don't get distracted. And also, you get to back a little bit earlier. He's not going to need that ultimate anytime soon. The dragon fight already happened, so nobody's going to be completely grouped up for that. And Kenny has a very easy way of getting out of it with Rift Walk.
Yeah. Final 5 recognizing their win conditions very well here. And yes, they gave up a couple of kills. Gate might have been a little bit too far forward, trying to deter. But again, picking up the dragon and being able to take a few more shots at the tower and deny some CS definitely helps them out quite a lot. And as a result, still 500 ahead. No, Jungle Fight might happen again. He's going to connect on the Sonic Wave. Doesn't want to go in. And yeah, we've seen this. Shorter Ace just really playing the conservative game out.
I really like that style from him too, because that's what they need in this team composition. They need to not get behind early and then allow the pick comp to just get off the ground because they have a Rumble. They have a Vayne. You want to just keep this team stable, even, and possibly a little bit ahead if you can, and then everything will work out for you near the late game. And we didn't really get to talk too much about Prototype's Vayne. I said it's his most played champion, and he always takes exhaust on his AD carries. I said this last week, but if people weren't tuning in, he always takes it. You look at his match history every single time. And I was like, I don't know if he'll bid him when he was little or anything, but at the same time, he's using that exhaust to split push, to use it on people and to duel them. And it also has saved him a couple times. It allows him not get turret dive, too. And he's also ahead in CS in his bottom lane, which is usually a very oppressive bottom lane from a Corki.
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive so far. He's up a decent amount of CS. He's also got the sustain help from Rule 18, who, by the way, has seriously improved his positioning this game.
Yeah, but Rule 18, you know, he did end up dying before, and that kill did go over to Robert at the Dragon. And here's the thing. Prototype, interesting build here from him. He's not going for a sustain Vayne with the Bilgewater Cutlass and rushing that Blade of the Rune King. He's already got a BF sword in his inventory.
Yeah, trying to go for that more all-around team fighting potential. Now, Shorter Ace going to get the kickoff on. Cloudwind says, I still don't want to take these fights. They just have to wait it out until they hit those incredible power spikes, and they just keep playing as safe as possible. Don't need to take really any unnecessary risks in this early game.
Just a fight there over that pink ward and green ward.
It's brutal.
And Robert getting a little lower. Bubba ended up shielding himself in the last trade as opposed to Robert, and that's what ended up costing them because they're just switching targets as soon as the shield is down. So there's some good communication here between this bottom lane of Final 5.
Yeah, they definitely have been able to find a pretty good niche for themselves going forward. In all the games they've played, this has been a pretty big standout. Prototype, again, we talked about Rule 18 getting caught a lot. Yes, it did happen, but it wasn't always without reason. Sometimes it was just Prototype wanting to maybe get him for a sacrifice. Whoa, the bubble, not going to connect there. They really are playing this as careful as possible, Robert especially.
Yeah, just good back and forth, trading as much as possible, but of course, the Janna shield needs to be put on preemptively, and Final 5 is doing a good job of switching targets. You can see both members of compLexity.Black's bottom lane are around that half HP mark. Elias Cloud, when he's looking for a gank near the mid lane, don't think he's going to get it off. The Shorter Ace looking for one in that bot lane, and there's the sweeper to make sure that this bush is all clear, and he's going to put himself in there to set up the next move.
Staging his way for a lane gank now. Shorter Ace patient in the brush as he can be, and they're just trying for something
there
to happen.
Here
we go. There's the wave out. Robert, he's going to be able to dash away from it. The Monsoon is down, but Bubba might be in trouble, and he's just melted. That Shorter Ace picking up that kill.
He's about to have kick back up. If he lands it, oh, he misses.
Not quite enough, and Robert stays alive for the time being, but 3 members deep in this bot against 1. Robert might have to give this tower up if they keep going. He's going to connect the Sonic Wave. He could go in for it.
He's going to
go! One more shot! He does get the heal out, though. Robert's still on the chase. Flashes for Flash. One more is going to do it. But here's Cloud. Shorter race. He's going to get the kill, but at what cost? He's going to get mopped up by the bug. Even so, the tower should be poked down pretty quickly here if they do want to take it. And wow, what a play.
Man, just the over-aggression there. The heal from Robert, just saving him a tiny bit, and then the flash. But that gives a summoner spell advantage to Final 5 in that bot lane with a Vayne, which you don't want her to have a summoner spell advantage over Corki, especially Flash, because she can reposition herself for a Condemn very easily.
And they're looking to push this one really quick. But yeah, incredible. Burning the 2 summoners for 1. He baited the heal. He got Flash for Flash. He was able to finish it up. Yeah, you put Gold in Cloudwind's pocket, but when you're shutting down Robert, that's got to be worth.
Yeah, and that's also going to put more gold into Prototype's pockets, because now he's up 20 CS as a Vayne, highest CS in the game.
Yeah, and he's going to hit that stride before anyone else as well because of it. And when a Vayne does get to that late game, starts rolling, it can be terrifying. There's a timer right now for compLexity.Black, and they've got to hit it. Yeah,
and he's not even becoming True Silver Bolt dependent because he might have to switch targets back and forth. And that's the thing with True Silver Bolts. I said bottom lane, they kept going back and forth. Whoever doesn't have the shield, we swapped that target. Whereas Vayne, you're usually like 1, 2, and then you want to get that third one off for the True Silver Bolt hit, but he's switching targets so often that he's just like, screw it, i.e., get the crit damage. Make sure that whoever I'm hitting, I don't have to hit them 3 times, and then he's good. He doesn't have to tunnel vision.
Yeah, there's really no need to. Again, Final 5, they know that if they keep playing the game out the way that they want to and make Complexity react to them, they can force those mistakes. They can get to that late game, and those are the win conditions they've been hitting. Now, Probably, he's going to get spotted out right here, but he's trying to get some bait off. Shorter Race having none of it.
Yeah, and I do want to pay attention to the warding game from Final 5 as we get further into this match, because of the fact that compLexity.Black have more or less a pick composition going for them with the Ahri in the mid lane. Pick and disengage. Pick, poke, and disengage.
Well, they've been able to make those picks, but again, they've lost out on quite a lot because of it. Every single time something happens, Final 5 is there to react.
And something's about to happen because this dragon is coming up very shortly in this bottom lane. It's actually losing an exchange here.
Everybody's moving that way right now. Even Rux not going to bother using his teleport. They have to back away on the bot side, as you mentioned. Kenny is here. Cloudwind is here. They're looking to set it up. The dragon is live. There's a ward in the brush, and let's see if Final 5 decides to go in on this one.
Sweeping of the ward. This dragon fight is really big. If Rux makes it there, he's a really big tool here. Rushing Leandres, he's got some damage.
Yeah, Kenny's actually doing a really good job of zoning this one, and they forced him to back off, but the dragon's going to reset. Cloudwind, he didn't take too much damage here, and neither did Bubadub, so they can go for this again, but Probably he has to go back and clear his tower. Everybody's here. This could be our first real 5v5.
This is a really good fight for both teams, too, because the fact they all hit item spikes, Rod of Ages, Leandres, we have the Zhonya's completed, and the Blade of the Ruined King. Just the 80 carries, the only ones that haven't really hit that stride just yet, and they're going to start this fight.
That was really, really close for Prototype, but he trusted his team to be there, and they're actually able to get serious positional advantage just off the slight mistakes of compLexity.Black there. Shorter Ace, I mean, they're just bullying right now.
Yeah, Final 5 just kind of wiggled their way in there. Prototype kind of put himself in a bad position. Look, they want to engage this because they're split.
Yeah, they can't get the... Oh, they're going to get a double bubble off. I thought he was going to miss it, but he goes on in. Kickback, it's Rule 18 getting a kill. Bubadub in trouble. The towers go really low there. The Monsoon is going to stop Bubadub from dying for just a moment, but it won't be very long. Shorter Ace tanking all the towers he can. Rule 18 in trouble. Probably going to come in. Kenny's actually going to pick up the kill, and in the end, they're going to trade 1 for 3. compLexity.Black still wants to fight this one, but it may not be the wisest choice.
Oh, he's
Probably so low. He's going to get the Zhonya's off. Staying alive. Kenny's going to go down, or is he? Yes, he burns. They're going to get the full ace, and that is going to be Dragon.
That is a huge snowball there for Final 5. These are comfort champions for them across the board, and they have better late game scaling on more of them. They are able to take that fight very easily, and I loved the call to get compLexity.Black while they were split. Force their way in, split them 2-3, immediately engage with everything you have. Good job there by Rule 18.
Absolutely massive. And again, yes, he died, but that was exactly what they wanted to happen there. So
get the
they
flashes
get 5.
with the tidal wave, bubble on top of it. Rux had an equalizer going at the same time. Really good communication there, and it shows compLexity.Black, they aren't all on the same page just yet.
Yeah, and this has been a huge problem for them in this early, now the mid-game. A huge gold swing for Final 5. The Dragon, an ace, that almost never happens.
Yeah, this is a team that showed really good signs of life back in the previous round, but they just had some nerves, and if they got over them and they're able to take on a beast like compLexity.Black, it does look like a wounded beast, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, they are able to chase those down quite a bit, and yeah, Final 5 really kicking it into high gear here. I don't know what Rux said to them, I don't know what Miss Peach said, but they have certainly stepped up their game.
Yeah, Rux probably just said, calm down, everybody. Because that's what he does every game. Keeping all the kids level.
It's the Rock. Oh, wow, Gate. He wanted to find Kenny right there. Prototype makes a move up top, too. Again, this is the easiest objective to take, the mid.
They still going for it shorter.
Yeah, they want to dive this. They're thinking about it. He does have the Sonic Wave. No, he's not going to go in. Again, they don't have to because there's a massive mini wave. And between Gate and Prototype, they managed to trade outer for outer in the mid side.
And compLexity.Black really just have this mid-game composition that's all about picks, and they haven't been able to do it. They haven't been able to set them up. Final 5 have been grouping more and more.
Well, it's actually Final 5 that's getting the picks here. The wave's out now. They're going to dive onto short race with the kickback. They find Prawley. They melt him down, and Rux with the equalizer. They're going to keep on going for this one. Robert and Bubba Dub are running. No more Janna. That's a double kill going over to Prototype.
Wow, just all this extra gold falling into Final 5's hands allows them to make decisions like that. That was a 4-on-5 in the mid lane, and Gate this entire time has been pushing this top tier 2 turret.
Yeah, they have no responses to this. They're trying to defend the mid. There's a pretty big minion wave in this mid side as well, so Robert and Cloud1 have to stop this, but I think this tower is just going to fall over, and no one's responding to Gate.
Well, you can't. Who can duel him at this point? He does have his Death Mark up, and he does have his Blade of the Rune King, and Youmuu's, his mid-game power spike is enormous.
They're going to try to find Rux here, but Shorter Ace is coming to the rescue. Now Robert might get a kill. Kenny's going to come in. They might have overstayed a little bit, and that does end up being a double kill for Robert X. Lee, but it seems like they're just getting little tiny bits back here.
Yeah, that's really good for compLexity.Black, though. That's what they needed. They need to at least trade a tiny bit, but Final 5 gets more turrets out of it. Now they need to rely on their ward pressure and their split pushing to get themselves even further into this game and get even more ahead. Because compLexity.Black, they just made a really good move there, picking off those low-health members who were staying a little too long.
Well, this definitely helps Robert X. Lee, especially now he's sitting 3-2. He has the Trinity Force, as you mentioned. He's still got his Tier 1 boots, but he's still pretty mobile on a Corki anyways. They really need to try and snowball off of that because Robert just has such huge damage potential when they do chase people down. They need to have Prawley there. They can't afford to let him get isolated. They can't afford to let Bubba get isolated, and they just haven't been doing it until now.
Yeah, big portion of what's going to happen in these team fights is, does Prawley land a charm? Who does he land it on? Can they blow that target up in the time that they're charmed? Because there isn't a whole lot of CC on this team from compLexity.Black. That's pretty much the sole CC tool, aside from slows and then the knockup from Bubba Dub.
There have been some pretty impressive close calls there, though, and even in the midst of jumps, you've seen Shorter Ace get charmed up. Again, they have been taking decent fights. It just seems that the collapse is better from Final 5. Now Robert is going to check into this red. No way can he go in on that one. Does not even know who's there. Now he knows it's Shorter Ace, but no more red buff.
And he's going to clear it out. That's going to be a red buff for Shorter Ace. And just even more jungle pressure. So Rule 18 stepping up in the ward game, but he also does have Shorter Ace there with the Sight Stone. And he wasn't able to play a Sight Stone jungler last time we saw him. He was going through Nocturne. He played a little bit of the Rengar, and then he played a Kha'Zix, and he never really got a Sight Stone. So now their vision game is just up just a whole nother level with this contribution.
Not only that, but if you look at the way they've been playing out the Summoner spell game, Kenny is actually going to be a little bit behind Rux when the teleport comes back up. The Dragon is a minute and a half away. This is going to be incredibly important for compLexity to get back into this game. A little bit of extra gold there, but the map is totally controlled by Final 5.
Yeah, and the fact that they have a Zed, who was their last pick, they're able to lock that in, and he has this mid-game power spike with the double actives. That is so gold efficient, it's ridiculous. When you have that Youmuu's Ghostblade active on, you are extremely powerful, and he's going to show it right here.
Wow, he's going all the way under tower range, and actually burning a flash. Cloud1 just trying to get away from it. Gate's taking quite a lot of damage there. Deathmark's on. Whoa, he's going to come back, and he picks him up. What a ninja.
That was incredible. The use of the ultimate there from Cloud1, but we have no time to talk about that.
Yeah, they're not done yet. Shorter Ace, he took a lot of damage, had to disengage from that one, but he's thinking about going in for round 2. Prototype in the final hour, getting a little bit of damage out there as well, but Rule 18 might be the one caught up. He's going to get charmed. He's going to get popped down. That's Robert X. Lee with his 4th kill of the game, but man, that could have been worse.
Could have been way worse. There have been many low-health members here of Final 5. They have to back off. Rux split pushing in the top lane. This team is just continually split pushing this top lane and giving up some kills, but then at the same time, they're like, all right, well, we got an objective for it. And I like that play from them because objectives are overall just worth way more.
Yeah, they get a lot more every single time they even do trade against them. It was a 1-for-1 altogether because remember, that was all preceded by Gate taking down Cloud1, and he just looked like he had no idea what was going on. Had to burn his flash, had to burn his ultimate, and he still got popped.
Yeah, and it wasn't even the death mark. When he used the ultimate, he was able to just stay under turret long enough that the death mark just popped, and then Gate was like, I'm just let Ignite use it. Cool guys don't look at explosions. I'm out of here.
That's how he likes to play.
Yeah.
And speaking of Gate, too, I mean, 5-1 right now, I mean, he's definitely made a statement that his Zed is something not to be messed with.
Yeah, and especially since he got going early, too. When that little skirmish that happened 2v2 and he ended up getting a kill on the level 6 all-in from him over Prawley, getting that solo kill, Big deal for Gate.
Oh, absolutely. They were able to identify where they can start the early snowball. Now this Dragon, they're going to get vision of it right now. The blue trinket's down. compLexity.Black wants to fight this, but the Dragon's pretty close.
Cloudwin,
he can go in for the steal. He's going to actually pick it off, but they might lose a lot for this one. Equalizer's down. Prototype's on the chase, but it looks like compLexity.Black might have been able to disengage this. Cloudwin, though, he got connected on the Sonic Wave. They're not going to go in for that one, so they get away with it.
He was just sneaking right over that side. When the jungler is right there, you can't continue to do the Dragon and just leave it up to 50-50.
Oh my God, he's going to go. Shorter Race gets the kickback. Didn't see that one coming. Bubba down. Prawley's going to have to Zhonya's, and they're going to connect again. Round number 2. Oh my goodness, Prawley. He's going to go down. Shorter Race finally following Cloudwin. He wants to do something, but there's no backup, and it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Final 5. Could be some more. Cloudwin shows face and just has to run on away.
And Shorter Race, despite missing the smite on Dragon, says, you know what? I'm still playing this Lee Sin, my main champion. I will get 2 people, follow them on Sonic Wave Resonating Strikes, kick him back, and he's all good. Kind of redeeming himself there.
Yeah, every single time he's managed to make a pretty big play on that one. And compLexity.Black still left smarting 5,000 gold down, even if they did pick up that Dragon. Final 5 still trading better overall.
Prototype at the same time. His CS has taken a little bit of a dip here. But look at this. They're collapsing on Rux in the top lane.
He might get away from this one. He's just trying to run it out as much as he can.
Flash.
He's still got the tower, but they're so dedicated on this one. He finally will fall. Kenny takes some damage, and he's not going to be able to riff walk away just yet. Still gets out of this one. Shorter Race looking for some redemption here. Cloudwin is not going to connect on him. They have the pink ward saved for just a moment, but he's still threatening. And now they've got Prototype and Rule 18 here to try to save this tower.
Yeah, it's 3 members in this top lane. They're just going to clear this minion wave out. At the same time, Zed, Gate pushing that bottom lane and probably pushing this mid lane. Just pressure multiple prongs all over this map. Gate, nobody can really duel him at this point. Probably would have to land a charm, get really good spell rotation on him, escape the damage, use the Zhonya's, and then try to come back in. But it's still a Zed. He still has those activatable items. They catch
Bubba, they catch him again. He's going to be able to get the Tornado off in the Zephyr, but Shorter Ace really scared him there. And again, it's been so touch and go for both these teams. Fingers got to be shaking on those keyboards.
And Bubba, you know, not window shopping there. Immediately attentive with the Tornado, because if he had taken an extra second there, Shorter Ace would have gotten the kickback. He had it up.
Mustache senses were tinkling.
It itches a little bit.
Just a little bit. Then he knows something's up. Shorter Ace is in the brush. Now, Rux and Rule 18 here, they have a decent amount of wave clear, of course, if they want to use those abilities. They can push this down, and they're going to get Shorter Ace's help here. They've cracked all the turrets outside the inhibitor shell except for that bottom. They continue to try and split push this one out, but they're big enough at this point to just try to muscle their way in. They just have to be careful of the collapse. The charm is going to reveal but not connect, so they know Prawley's around, and it's kind of been the story of Prawley this game.
Yeah, they have tier 2s in the mid and the bot lane, and they're pushing on both of them. 4-1 split push here with a Zed. Great strategy, and they immediately set up for it in champion select with the very last pick.
Yeah, they're able to take half its health out in one bite there, and compLexity.Black quick to respond, but not quite quick enough. So again, Final 5 are looking to try and set something up here. They might actually bait this out. They find that there's a pink ward in the brush they were going to hide in, but here we go. Let's get out of there, boys.
And they're just going to book it. Try to get to that mid lane, make sure there's no more pressure there. Meanwhile, Gate's pushing that bottom lane, and the ward coverage all on that side of the map for them is allowing them to make these types of plays. At the same time, pink ward's coming out for compLexity.Black. They know what Final 5 have in their sights, so they're placing all these pink wards on that right-hand bottom side of the map so that they know the rotations and that they stop green ward placement of Final 5. Now, Rux, he's spending a lot of time. You have to clear these out, but it takes a while.
Yeah, and they're really just trying to run compLexity.Black all over the map here. They still have significant ward control. Gate, however, is taking his time about trying to push this one in. I don't think he really wants to go all in on iKennyU just because it's very, very difficult to try and polish off a cast in the same way he did to Cloudwin earlier.
Look at this, just setting up for it. Shorter Ace is on the left side, but Rule 18, he's caught.
He's going to actually burn his flash there, so Cloudwin does get a free summoner out of that one. And of course, they've got Shorter Ace around the side, starting to show a few signs of weakness here. And compLexity.Black, sensing it, going to try and push up this mid. They have decent wave clear, but see if they can wrestle that map control back.
Shorter Ace, he's on this flanking side of the map, trying to make it so that he can get something off. But there's no wards there. Bubba just doing some scouting.
He's just going to have to get out of that one. So yeah, again, compLexity looking for anything they can to get back into this one. They've yet to take the outer turret in the top. That's definitely the easiest objective for them. They could push down the bot side, and they're certainly trying to split it out with Kenny, but with only one tower in their name right now, it's a little bit rough. They've managed to finally find two. Now Robert, though, has to be careful. The equalizer's thrown down. Gates on the chase, although Bubba is there for the saves.
And Robert, at the same time, using his heal to get that extra movement speed through the equalizer, just get out of the damage and the slow, so he doesn't get followed up on and caught.
Dragon and
yeah, exactly.
Dragon, how careful they are.
In 50 seconds here. You have to see how careful they are, but look at that, not careful
maybe
enough.
Not careful at all. Robert could be in trouble. Deathmark's on the Monsoon.
Oh!
It won't be nearly enough. He gets popped.
Pop, pop. There he goes, just completely blown up. Through an exhaust, Janna ulti, and a shield. Just showing the power of those two activatable items, the Deathmark, the Ignite, and the Last Whisper now.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of damage, and, well, Robert found out firsthand. They did trade a tower for it, so Kenny was able to split down the bottom side, and again, the siege is on, but Final 5 a little bit leery of being caught out like this until they're all together. Rux, they're doing a 3-1. Well, a 3-1-1.
Yeah, a 1-3-1, 1-1-3, 3-1-1, whatever you want to call it.
I think that's my phone number.
Really? Oh boy.
Uh-oh. I'll expect some calls later on.
Tell him how. Tell him how
the charm prototype. He gets out of that. I mean, that could have been incredibly bad right there. They're going to push this one down, and there's really not much they can do. compLexity.Black trying to answer back. Whoa, the tower. Last second is going to go down.
Caught.
He's going to get caught for just a second. He's able to walk away. Going on in. Last second gets the kickback. They're going to spend the wave, and down goes Prawley as the pause comes in. Wow.
Wow. So the kickback from Prawley there, Prawley was not reacting to that at all. He did have a flash, too. So I don't know. I'm assuming it's something on Prawley's end there. Not 100% sure, but
I mean, it's hard to know with the reaction in how quick that is. So just taking it out of the game for a second. Obviously, there's an incredible amount of action, incredible amount of tension for both these teams, and to have something like that happen, it's got to definitely put a big, big dent in your mental strategy.
Yeah, and at the same time, he just gets blown up by a crit, and just I think it was an E there, a Shadow Slash from Zed. Just because he's in base contact with them. It was one of those things where it takes a second, just a fraction of a second, to flash, but also to not flash. The fact that he just stood there and auto attack was really big for Final 5, and it's just going to get back to the game and resume.
Yeah, so again, compLexity.Black, it's all on them to try and answer this one back and see what they can do to keep any more towers from falling. It's a 5-3 advantage, so they've managed to grab a little bit more for themselves, but there's no way they can contest this Dragon right now. They might try, but without Prawley, it's going to be a tall order.
It's going to be very tough. His Spirit Rush up, his Flash up, and that's the beauty of pre-recording these. Nobody knows how long that pause was.
Exactly. Nobody saw that.
Nobody got to hear our filler either.
I
had great jokes lined up.
We saw how long it took the Dragon to fall, and that certainly wasn't very. So, again, Final 5 has a lot of damage, and now they've caught compLexity on the wrong side of the map. Deathmark's down. Kenny, he could be in trouble. He's going to get the Zhonya's off, and the Deathmark won't go anywhere. But again, the exhaust is on. They're committing heavily to picking him off here. Prototype will be able to do it, and that's around the Baron pit. They could start this one off. It'd be incredibly close.
It'd be so hard shorter.
He's going to go for Robert. Finds he doesn't have the damage. He's going to be able to safeguard back away, but Robert actually has nowhere to go right now. He's got no one to save him. It seems like it's only a matter of time unless he can trade 1-for-1. Rule 18's going to cut him off. The bubble, mid-Valkyrie. Down he goes, and Prototype on a killing spree. They found 2 for none. Shorter Ace is still alive. Can they risk the Baron? It's 30 minutes, and they're going to try it.
Here's the thing, though. If Shorter Ace is a little low, Cloudwind is off on the side. Prawley's here, too. There's assassination potential, and they'd have to blow this up. Prototype has some damage. They have a Blade of the Ruined King. It's going to start getting chunked out very quickly, but it's still not that super quick Baron. And
he flashes away, and he's going to go down. Wow, the Smite Steal! He did manage to pick it up, but now they might go down after this. Cloudwind, he's already dead. He's sacked for all that. Everybody's getting out of town, and Prawley and Bubba just might get away with it.
If you can't smite the Dragon in a pressure situation with Cloudwind right over there, what makes you think you can get the Baron from him? That was one of the weirdest decisions I've seen a team make in this tournament. Yeah. That was really just, why would you do that? Just collapse on those 3 members. You outnumber them. Their engage options are really limited, and Cloudwind was the only threat, and he pulled off the one move that he had at his arsenal. All you have to do is think, how's he going to get in there? Oh, he's going to jump in. Cover that option.
They had to know it was coming. They just panicked a little bit, and it seemed like Shorter Ace just wasn't ready to hit that. So you talked about nerves and how this can affect Final 5. We've seen them just step up and perform so incredibly well, but in those clutch situations, compLexity.Black is still able to take something back. They've stolen not just a Dragon, but now a Baron. They have a chance to get back into this one, and most importantly, they've denied that crucial buff to Final 5.
I don't even know if he killed it with Smite.
We have to take a look at the replay later.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he killed it pretty quick.
He may have. He may have. I just saw his smite icon up and Shorter Ace is down, but time has passed since then. I was talking a lot.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I'll just assume he smited it away and it was just low cooldown, 40 seconds.
Now, all the same, Final 5 is just going to go back to doing what they've been doing all game, which is try to drag complexity all over the field. Now, they found Prawley. Don't want to go in on him just yet. Again, Shorter Ace has just been incredibly on point with his decision-making, whether or not he dives in. More often than not, they net those kills. But you can see a little bit of life here in compLexity.Black. They're starting to fight back, and they've got a couple of members with the Baron. See if they can make it count. Probably waiting in the brush. Oh, Charm's not going to land. They are revealed.
It's a minion with that. Loses all pressure of the poke composition and the Schrodinger bush. You don't know if he's in there or not. So you had to pay it due dividends.
It doesn't matter if you can't hit the skill shots, though. And speaking of skill shots, Shorter Ace still managing to connect, but they don't want to check into that one again. Wait till they have the sustain up. Now they are doing this 4-1 with Rux all alone in the middle, but they have to worry about that minion wave starting to push on the bot.
And it's only 2 members of compLexity.Black Baroned up at this moment. Rux, he's going to continue to split push. He does have his teleport available. And he does have a blue buff, too. It's not going to help out too much, just get that CDR, but it's not a huge deal when you have heat as your resource.
Yeah, definitely not too bad of a thing. Now, Cloudwind jumping in forward, but Final 5 already disengaging from this one, ceding a little bit more ground back over to complexity as they start to push forward. 5 members on this bot side.
It's exactly what they needed to get back into the game, too. The extra boost in gold to get them only 5,000 gold difference between these 2 teams. And compLexity.Black were playing before like it was a 10k gold lead, and they couldn't do anything about it. Now, Baron on 2 members, able to push up, making a little bit better decisions at this point in the game.
This is the resiliency that we've come to expect from the compLexity roster, of course, even with some new members, some brand new members. Cloudwind has really made a name for himself with those smite steals.
Yeah, this series, this is game 1.
I can't believe it's only game 1.
Smite stolen 2 things, or at least stolen them away from Shorter Ace.
Yep. Now, ooh, Kenny takes a little bit of burst there, but Gate gets out of town real quick, and they're able to clear the waves away. So compLexity trying their best to push this one out, but they've run into a wall, and that's not even Rux included.
Yeah, Rux is just back at the base right now. A lot of this is Gate just throwing out as much damage as possible. He's working on that Mauve Malmortis.
Yeah, and he's pretty hard to touch right now. And here you go. They're going to look for the pick brush. I don't think Final 5 is going to be interested in checking into this one. They have been playing out far too cautiously.
The brush hotel.
Like that. Uh-oh, Gate. They check it a little bit early. I don't know. He's going to be able to check out. And Prawley actually wishes he might have waited a few seconds.
And brush hotel, it's not as lethal as you would have thought.
Yeah, the wave might be. It's not going to connect on anybody as Robert was able to dodge it away.
Here comes Rux, though.
But they're going to collapse. They have the equalizer down. Prawley's low. He's slowed. They're going to chase him down. He's got the Baron regeneration, but will it be enough? Now Cloudwind comes in, and around the side is Kenny, so they're able to get away from this one. But, man, these close calls just keep coming.
Yeah, both these teams really don't have engage or hard engage. It's like throw down an equalizer. It's not exactly hard engage. It's kind of softer engage, depending on how you use it. Same thing with the tidal wave. If you combine the 2 at the same time, then they kind of make more of a hard engage, but there's no way to guarantee and start a fight.
They have not enough members right now to fight this one out. Speaking of engagements, Rule 18 had a little bit of trouble, but Cloudwind goes too far. Rux is going to pick him off, and what was that? Now it's compLexity that has to turn around. Gates joined the party again. Shorter Ace may not be there, but it's going to be a 4v4 anyways.
Yeah, Shorter Ace wasn't even there. 4-on-4. 4-on-5, and they picked off Cloudwind because of the positioning error that he made this late in the game. Dragon up in 10 seconds. He's not going to be up in time for that. That might be a Dragon just falling into the hands of Final 5.
Yeah, you can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes, and we've seen him play incredibly well, but when the comms are not on point, this is what we worried about, him being so new to the team. compLexity has shown those signs of confusion.
The compLexity, and people were like, this is a better team on paper than the old compLexity, isn't working out quite that way.
Not quite, and they have been on the back foot a good chunk of this game, even if they've managed to grab a little bit back into their pockets. Baron is 1 minute and 40 seconds away. And again, Final 5 trying to keep the map contained as best they can.
And look at that cooldown reduction boots on Prawley with the DFG and the Zonia is going full activatable, but wants the cooldown reduction so his spirit rushes up more often, so he can throw out charms and actually get the engages, because he is pretty much the only engaging tool on compLexity.Black that almost guarantees a kill. Everything else is like, all right, we disengage with Janna, or I flash tried to engage with Janna. It's extremely difficult. F5, they're relying on Shorter Ace to get in there for their hard engage, and he's been doing that pretty successfully, right? It's not guaranteed hard engage, but these teams both struggle with starting team fights.
Well, and again, it's been a series of trying to catch people out, and if they do, or if they do find the fight, especially Final 5, they've been able to just pop Prawley. They have nothing to fear at that point, and that's the real key. Knowing that you can take any follow-up you want once you've taken out that crucial member of the team. Final 5 has pushed that so aggressively, and this is why they're where they are at.
The Final 5 we're seeing today is very reminiscent of the Final 5 we saw in Game 3 against Zenith last week. They really brought it. The Rule 18, he's doing a good job with the warding, good job with the positioning so far. Sometimes he's caught off from the team, but otherwise, his bubbles have been on point. When he lands them when he needs to. The shorter ace, really, really good map pressure. Highest kill participation on his team, tied with the AD carry. But at the same time, his smites. That could have been a Baron that they had. That could have been even more of an advantage for them. And they could have been knocking on the inhibitors right now.
They need a little bit more than that if they want to make it to the Final 4. Of course, I suppose they'd have to drop somebody at that point.
No. They just changed their name to the Final 4.
Ah,
why not?
I see.
And then they're just like, no, that guy's with us in spirit.
Oh, I see.
It's fine.
I suppose it's a good workaround. For the time being, still full 5, trying to make something happen. They are going to set up for the Baron dance. Let's see if compLexity.Black wants to tango.
Well, they wanted to tango last time, and it worked out for him. Cloudwind sacrificed himself. He's like, 1 for Baron? I'll take that deal any day.
Absolutely. They may be a little bit more clear-cut this time, though. Shorter Ace actually going to go wide to the right on the Sonic Wave. Now, Rux is in the bottom clearing out some wards, but he does have the teleport available. So, again, Final 5 going to continue to try and split push things out. They have Gate, that incredible wave clear. But Robert's in the mid right now, and that's going to drag Prototype over there. Pretty long dance.
Yeah, he can't really dual Prototype, though. He has the exhaust, he has attack speed items, and the IE on that vein. And he's got a red buff right now, so escaping him would be extremely hard.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, he has a few ways to get out.
Oh, they started
situations. Yeah, the Silver Sash, but this Baron is being picked off right now. It's
There it
already
goes.
extremely low. There's no response here. compLexity has no idea this is happening. It's going to go over. 4 members able to pick that one off, and Bubba going to check right into it. Uh-oh, Death Mark down. They're going to go for this one. Gate taking a lot of damage, but he's following up. Exhaust is on, but it's already over for Bubba and Prawley. It's a double kill going over to the mid laner from Final 5. Robert actually on the chase on the runaway. They get the equalizer out. They're still going to disengage from this one, but 2 members gone already. What can they do against this Baron up 5-man right now?
It's a Baron up 5-man, like you said, on Final 5. They have the split push going already. They're going to have to face tank something in that mid if they want it, but it looks like they're just going to go and rotate towards that top that's already being pushed out for them. Really good job there for engaging the fight and immediately capitalizing on Bubba face check, which was a little too late.
Yeah, just the presence of mind. The timers are especially important, and they just didn't hit it quite right. So now all 5 members saying, yes, we can take this one. The bubble's going to land. Whoa, excuse me. Rux, he's in a little bit of trouble, gets his Zhonya's on, and they do manage to take out the inhibitor turret. Whoa, what a minute. Shorter Ace wanted to go in deep for that one. Looks like there would have been a slight miscommunication, but he gets out anyways, and they pick off the inhibitor, running on away home, 39 minutes and a half. Wow.
Yeah, getting that Baron is definitely going to open up these types of opportunities for you, especially when you have now an 11k gold advantage over compLexity.Black. Final 5 are in the driver's seat now with this composition that has a bit of a stronger late game than compLexity.Black's. They know how to play this too. They've been playing it perfectly. That Baron went down so quickly because double blade of the Rune King, and they were just chunking it very, very quickly with their damage.
Not only that, the follow-up was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a Zed move that fast with an exhaust on him.
Yeah, he went really hard. He went in with the Living Shadow, the Yomu's on, and he just wanted to take down Bubba. He had blood in his eyes.
He scared the Living Shadow out of them. And now he's still scaring him. 8-1. I mean, that's a pretty solid score right here. I think Gate has, above anyone else, really stepped up this game.
It was actually really good.
You like that one,
Yeah,
huh?
I like that one.
All right.
It took me a second. I was like, keeping it PG.
Always. Shorter Ace now really has been leading the charge in this game. He has gone in. I can't really fault any decision he's made other than smites. He's been incredible at those dive-ins.
Yeah, those dive-ins and the fact that he's able to get out. This is really going to make compLexity.Black think about the next champion select. If they lose this game, which it does look like it's getting close to that point, Final 5 have all the cards. They just need to accidentally misplay 1 or 2, and then compLexity.Black can get back into the game. You know, we have seen it hashtag 80 minutes the dream, but
Currently, we're sitting at 40.
Yeah.
It could go, but I don't know. But the way they're melting now, Robert, he's going to go pretty
QSS.
low, and he's almost going to get popped. QSS to get that one away. Gate, can he escape? Actually has his Guardian's Angel go down, and Rux is going to be able to follow up, picking off Brawly, Kenny, and Cloudwin running away from this one. This tower could get popped so fast, you can see how they can siege this down. This is the lead that Final 5 has built. They're going to be able to take out the second inhibitor. This is trouble for compLexity. They have to do something.
Nice little QSS buy there from Robert X. Lee, being able to take off the death mark from Gate, and then the follow-up, taking out Gate, but GA that he had purchased, definitely coming in handy. So the Dragon's live. They're probably going to want to get that on their way out. They have all the tools necessary to pick that one up. And now they have two inhibitors, opposite sides of the map, pushing in. This is really big for Final 5. And in this high-pressure situation for them against a team that came in as one of the tournament favorites.
Yeah, and there's really not a lot compLexity.Black can do here other than try to hope for those mistakes. You've seen Final 5 make them. You've seen the smite steals, but it's starting to feel like it's just a little bit too late to start to make that impact with the comp they have. And here we go. Gate's going to jump onto Robert. He's going to back away as he sees Cloudwin and Bubba there, but still, again, scaring Robert actually, jumping right out of his ship.
Yeah, making sure the QSS is down. The cooldown of that is a little bit longer than Deathmark at this point.
It's definitely going to come in handy as it has already, but again, I mean, how much can you save that? They've still managed to take objectives off of it. They have an inhibitor on the bot. They have an inhibitor on the top. They're just running this map right now.
Yeah, this has just been a really crazy game for Gate in the mid lane, too. The fact he got help early on, off of a little bit of a mistake from Shorter Ace, but it paid off. And then the solo kill on Prawley. This guy is 100 CS up over Prawley.
That's pretty impressive.
Him and Prawley have the same numbers in their KDA. He just
reversed.
Reverse the kills and the deaths.
I think I know which one I'd rather have.
1 and 8, right? Because then you're worth less gold.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, naturally.
Because I know you're going to die more.
Oh, shots fired. So, Prawley now doing his best to defend this one, but he's taking so much abuse. This team has so many weapons at its disposal. They have the dive potential. I mean, Gate has been getting in and out like crazy. Shorter Ace has been diving, and it's been paying off incredible dividends because of how tanky he started to get here with the Randuins, with, of course, everything else he's got in his pocket. Now Gate going to lead this charge as the inhibitor comes right back up. They had the perfect timing on it, and they will be able to fire this one down, but can compLexity answer on back? They're certainly going to try.
That's incredible, because a lot of teams don't actually take those timers.
Look at they're going for it. The kick is going to catch Bubba as well. Gets the Monsoon out, but they're coming on forward anyways, and it's going to be Kenny pretty low. Prawley's going to melt. Everybody's dying so fast. Kenny is going to get his Zanyas on, but it looks like this game might be over. Shutdown goal going over to Cloudwin, but these towers are melting fast.
That was such an incredible game from start to finish there for Final 5. Coming out, struggling against Zenith, struggling with nerves, and then they take the first game in a best of